So here we go tonight with a lovely beef pepper stroganoff. So what we are looking at here is lovely beef, which I will slice, some black pepper, mushrooms, frozen peas, butter, some malt vinegar, cream, 2 onions, tomato sauce, garlic, paprika, ginger, plain flour, and salt. So here we go, my salty dog friends. Let's get going with this. Full recipe and ingredients in the description box below. So let's start chopping that lovely meat that we've got there, which is about 500 to 600 grams of meat. Okay, so you can see I have chopped the meat up into nice bite-sized pieces over here. I have trimmed off all the sinew and the tough bits of the meat. You can buy pre-cut beef strips or beef cubes, but I prefer buying my own steak because then I can cut off the tough bits, because sinew doesn't go soft no matter what you do unless you really boil it a long time. You can see I've kept the little bits of fat on there, so it just absolutely will just add to the flavor. And now we are going to warm up our pot with some lovely butter, sliced onion, start frying the onion, adding the garlic and ginger, and then once the onion starts going a little bit soft, we'll add the beef to it. Okay, my friends, here we go. The onion is sliced nice and roughly. Our oil is nice and warm, so just then turn the heat down ever so slightly. Add your onion. And I'm just going to start sauteing the onion so it becomes a little bit translucent. And so while it's cooking on a nice low heat, we're going to add our garlic, teaspoon of garlic, a half a teaspoon of ginger, bring it to the low heat so the full flavors can start using. And we add our paprika, the mix, stir, to a nice slow heat so the onion can just get a little bit soft and it doesn't burn. We'll turn it up just before we add the meat to it. And I'm going to add a good amount of ground black pepper to it, about a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon depending on how spicy you want it. I just ground it directly into the pot, or you can pre-measure it. Go. Let's give it a good old stir. Just give it like a stir. This will be sauteing for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will be adding the meat. So let this just go for about 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll see now. Okay, our onion has been going for about 3 minutes now. So now I've just turned the heat up. You can see it's starting to sizzle very nicely over there. And I'm going to add my meat in bits by bits. I don't want to shock the pot to get it too cold too quickly. If you add it in too fast, then you will actually shock it and it will cool down too much. So now we are just going to just mix it through so that we just get the flavors. And we are just going to lovely brown the meat for about 3 to 5 minutes on the high heat, stirring occasionally. At this point, we are going to be adding a teaspoon of salt, and then just give it a stir. And then just to help with getting a little bit tender, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of malt vinegar. Right, 2 tablespoons of malt vinegar added to it. There you go. And just give that a good old stir. Just careful of the heat at all times. Just bring that back up to heat. This will take about 5 minutes from when we put the meat in. We'll see you in about 5 minutes. Okay, about 5 minutes, you can see it's nicely bubbling away over there. Give it a little bit of a stir. In the meantime, I've chopped my mushrooms just sort of like in thirds, so just nice and rough chop. And now we're just adding that to the meat. Now, while it's still on high heat, we are just going to stir it all through. See, I haven't added any more liquid or any more moisture to it. Also keeping in mind that your mushrooms will also be drawing water. So that's whenever you clean mushrooms, don't wash them under a tap. Take a dry cloth and wipe them dry with a dry cloth. Otherwise, they absorb more water and then your meal will become a little bit more watery. So now we're going to leave that on for about 3 minutes. But while that's doing that, my magic ingredient, a tablespoon of tomato sauce. And we will just give that a little stir through. Do not put a lid on because you want the moisture to escape, because we are going to be adding in cream in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, while we're waiting for the meat, what we're going to do is we're going to do about 4 cups of milk and a 4 cup of plain flour. That will be your thickening. Just add that together. And we just going to mix You also use a blender to blend it once as well. Now this is quite good. Yeah, and then I'm just going to fold this up with some cream. So this will be about 250 grams of cream added to that. And I'll put a little bit of cream to the side as I need to the sauce a little bit thick. And so this can just put on the side while we do this. So let's go and have a look here. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a taste, just to see if I need to add a little bit more pepper to it. Yeah, just need a little bit more pepper. but it still depends if you like it peppery or not peppery. If you've got people that don't like too much pepper, don't stick to about that, but I'm adding a little more pepper. If you want a little bit of a peppery stroganoff this evening. There we go. Now I'm going to turn the heat down and pop a lid on it and leave it for about 10 minutes and then we'll complete it. Okay, and while the meat is busy boiling away and just getting a little bit more tender, I've put on some rice that we'll be serving with this. And as you remember from the previous video, how we did the rice, if you don't remember, go back to that video where I did a rice with our stew, and you can see exactly how we've done it. Very quick and easy. Quick recap: rice, 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, salt to your taste, and then bring it to a boil. Once it boils, turn it down right to its lowest heat, 10 minutes, don't lift the lid and let it go. Okay, we can see it took about 3 minutes and our rice is now boiling. The bubbles are starting to touch the lid. So now we just turn the heat right down and just leave it there. Alexa, timer 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
There we go. Let's just have a quick look at the meat. Oops, there we go. Break this and go along. So that's been in for about 5 minutes. You can see how the moisture has reduced and it's become a little bit more on the thicker side as well. Exactly what we want. Mushrooms are starting to get cooked. Now, at this point, after about 5 minutes, I'm going to add 2 cups of frozen peas to it. Sprinkle it on top. And we are just going to stir peas through. It is going to drop the heat a little bit, but that's why I normally take my peas out a little bit in advance. There's one piece that is not defrosting time, so it just doesn't bring the heat of your food down too much. Here we go. Okay, 5 minutes is gone. You hear how lovely it's simmering away there. Now, make sure you turn your heat into this right down. Do a little bit of a stir. With those colours, smell is unbeatable. So now we are just going to take our little lipstick here, just mix it through, apply cream and milk. Top. I'm going to stir it through and see how the colour is starting to change. And this is so inexpensive compared to buying the packets of thickener. See how it's starting to thicken up already? And that's why I say keep a little bit of your cream and milk, your cream aside, because then it's just got a little bit thick. So now I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup more cream. And I'm just going to stir it through. Pop the lid on. And we'll check it in 5 minutes when the rice is ready, and it might just go in for another 5 minutes. See you in about 5 minutes. Okay, salty dogs, let's quickly have a look at this rice. In 10 minutes, now you lift the lid. Just give it a little bit of a stir through. Oh, there we go, it's perfect. Turn the heat down and just put it aside with the lid on top of it. Lovely and fluffy. and we are just going to check how the stroganoff is coming along, which should be nearly ready as well. Oh, look at that. I'm just going to test the meat quickly, see how tender it is, and if we need to leave it in a little bit longer. But while I do that, let me just pop the lid on there. Yes, I'm just taking a little piece of meat out. Just going to slice to see the tenderness. So the color is beautiful, and I think it's ready, but I'm just going to double check it. Another 5 minutes, and it will be absolutely tender. You can leave it in longer if you like, but this should be the right amount of time to get your beef all ready. So my friends, thank God I checked that the microphone was still on, because I've just noticed that it started going flat. So I just microphone's going to be a little bit fancy this evening. So we're going to take just a normal scoop cup or whatever. I'm going to do about a cup of rice. A little bit down. Pop it over. There we go. Just like in a restaurant, we're just going to garnish with a little bit of rocket on the side. So let's go and dish this up. Okay, so let's dish up some of this lovely stroganoff. And let's give it a little bit gravy on top. And now, to finish it off, I'm going to take my good old scissors. Drop it on top. And just for a little bit of extra flavour, a little bit of paprika. Sprinkle around. And there we go. Now you can add salt and pepper to your taste if you still want more. But there we go. And we have got a restaurant meal ready to go. So, full description box, full recipe, ingredients, and this is a lovely quick meal that goes a long way. Thank you for watching, my friends. Stay salty. Lovely, hot, and steamy, healthy, and let's give this a try. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Oh, yummy. This is absolutely to die for. Friends, stay salty. We'll see you soon.